Hello BookTube, welcome back to my 2026 library tour. In this episode, I'm doing the middle shelf of this final bookcase of the history section of my library tour. This shelf includes later Roman history, India, Iran, Egypt, the Middle East, Israel, Bhutan, the Ottomans, and the Mongols. So let's get started. First, the later Roman Empire, who are the transwise books. So first up is Byzantium, The Surprising Life of a Medieval Empire by Judith Herron. So I have not read this book yet. I read Herron's more recent Ravenna and eventually grew to like it. So I've been meaning to give this a go, but haven't gotten around to it. I'm thinking I might read it for sometime in the near future. Hopefully. Next is Streams of Gold, Rivers of Blood, The Rise and Fall of Byzantium, 955 AD to the First Crusade, by Anthony Cole Dellis. So this is largely a military history of a specific dynasty of the later Roman Empire, or Byzantine Empire. And maybe a little bit of another dynasty. I've never successfully gotten on with this book. More recently, Coldellis has written a much larger history of the later Roman Empire called The New Roman Empire, A History of Byzantium, which is a big work of history that I have yet to get into. I tried it once a few years ago, shortly after it came out, and I couldn't get into it. Okay, now on to the shelves and the shelf itself. First is some Indian history, starting with India's War, World War II and the Making of Modern South Asia by Srinath Raghavan. Have not read it. India, A History by John Key. So this is a general history of India. Have not gotten to yet. Did not get on with his book on China, though. India, 5,000 Years of History on the Subcontinent by Audrey Trushke. So this is another, another big overarching history of India. That I think has some mixed opinions on. Have not read it, though. The Golden Road, How Ancient India Transformed the World by William Dalrymple. So this is a look at Indian history from a few thousand years ago. I have struggled with the book, but I might give it another go at some point and see if I have more success. Moving on to Iran. Iran, A Modern History by Abbas Amanat. So this is a history of Iran from the reconstitution of Iran under the Safavids to the Islamic Revolution. So, it's a really good book. I do think 20th century Iran is a little bit overrepresented compared to the earlier centuries. But still a really good history of Iran over the last 500 years. The Last Shah, America, Iran, and the Fall of the Pahlavi Dynasty by Ray Takei. This is a pretty good book on the subject. On to Egypt with A World Beneath the Sands, The Golden Age of Egyptology by Toby Wilkinson. So this is the history of Egyptology in the 19th and very early 20th century, ending with, I think, not quite the discovery of the tomb of Tutankhamun, but it's largely in the 19th century, and it is a really, really good book. Annoyingly, Wilkinson's best book. Because you would want his best book to be a history of ancient Egypt, which is his specialty, not a history of archaeology in the 19th century, but Wilkinson does a really good job of capturing Egypt in the 19th century. Next is Egyptomania, a history of fascination, obsession, and fantasy by Ronald H. Fritz. Have not read it. Next is We Are Your Soldiers, How Gamal Abdel Nasser Remade the Arab World by Alex Rao. This is a really good look at the influence of Nasser on the Middle East and in Egypt over the decades of his rule in Egypt. Really good book. I also really like Making the Arab World, Nasser Qutb and the Clash That Shaped the Middle East by Fawaz A. Gurgis. So this is a look at Nasser's rise to power and his conflict with what would become the Muslim Brotherhood. I have not read Preventing Palestine, A Political History from Camp David to Oslo by Seth and Ziska. Nor have I read The Only Woman in the Room, Golda Meir and Her Path to Power by Penina Lahav. Moving on to Bhutan. The History of Bhutan by Karma Funcho, which I don't think is no, it's not. So this is a big history of Bhutan from the, I think it's around the 18th century, maybe a little bit earlier to the present. And it is really good, surprisingly. It is really good. A bit dry at points, though. Next is Tournament of Shadows, The Great Game and the Race for Empire in Central Asia by Carl E. Meyer and Shireen Blair Brissac. Have not read it. The Ottomans, Khans, Caesars, and Caliphs by Mark David Bayer. And so this is the history of the Ottoman Empire from the 13th century to the dissolution of the empire at the end of World War II. And it is really good. I really enjoyed this book. The later 19th and early 20th centuries were a bit rough, but for the most part, this is a really, really good book. I have not read The Lion House, The Coming of a King by Christopher de Belag. I'm pretty sure I butchered that name. And it is a biography of Suleiman the Magnificent. I have struggled to read From Genghis Khan to Tamerlane, The Reawakening of Mongol Asia by Peter Jackson. So this is a history of the Mongols between the Genghis Khan and Tamerlane, and of, I think, Tamerlane's conquests. So, next is The Horde, How the Mongols Changed the World by Marie Favreau. So this is a history of the Golden Horde, and which was, so in the aftermath of Genghis Khan, the Mongol Empire split into sub-empires. And the northernmost one was the Golden Horde, which largely ruled northern Central Asia and European Russia for centuries. And this book looks at how the Golden Horde operated, how they encouraged trade, and how they eventually fell. Pretty good book. It was, I think, a finalist for the Kindle History Prize a few years ago, and was one of a very, very strong finalist trio. And I also really liked The Mongol Storm, Making and Breaking Empires in the Middle East by Nicholas Morton. So this book looks at the Mongol influence on the Middle East, particularly during the time of the Crusades and the Trucial states, which were Crusader states in Lebanon and what is now Israel, and the conflicts that were ongoing. So, really good book. So, that wraps up this middle shelf. I will be, well, okay. So, about the final two shelves. If you're not aware, I am currently in, or me and my mom are currently in the middle of spring cleaning week. So we are rearranging a lot of the rooms in this apartment. And part of that rearrangement is not only have I lost the baker's rack that I was using as a desk, but I'm also going to be giving this bookcase, which was originally my mother's, back to her. Originally, it was in part a TV, sort of the TV would be up here, and then there would be some knickknacks, and then the final two shelves were for my cookbooks. What we're going to do is hopefully I can get the TV back up on here, and then the next four shelves to for my mom's bookcase. My mom has a book collection. It is significantly smaller than mine, but I'm hoping that this will help her sort of give her a bit more bookish space. So to replace this bookcase, I'm getting two new bookcases in. So if the two bookcases come in today, which I've been told by UPS that they are, tomorrow I will put the bookcases together and move the books from this bookcase to some placeholder bookcases, get this bookcase moved into the living room, get the two new bookcases in here, and then redo the history section of my library. If that happens, I will film the final two parts of this bookcase tonight. Now, there is every possibility that UPS might not deliver the bookcases today because UPS, like a lot of delivery services, have a hard time with this apartment complex. And if that's the case, then I will probably hold off on the double filming until they come in. Unless, of course, it's like they don't arrive until Friday, in which case I'll just do the library tour as it is. So, yeah. So I will kind of keep you informed in the other videos how things are going to work out. Anyway, BookTube, until I see you next time, thank you and have a great rest of your morning.